So fine. So today uh, we'll quickly review it, the algorithm, and we'll discuss the next topic. So before we move further, let us quickly review this algorithm and what we are doing exactly in this algorithm. Quicksort is a sorting technique which is based on a divide and conquer approach. That means your entire array will be divided into parts and each part will be sorted independently. And in the same way, you are sorting the main part. The partition, that partition you some index q. Now you have that index q, this with different parameters. So initially it was p and r. P represents your left index, r represents your right index. That means you want to sort the data between pth element and rth element. Now what you are doing over here, you are sorting the data between p and q minus 1. Q is your partition position. So just before that element, you are sorting the numbers P and Q minus 1, as well as you will be sorting the numbers Q plus 1 to R. So this is how you will keep on calling this function. You find this. So this is basically a recursive algorithm, and every recursive algorithm requires a terminating condition. So what is the terminating condition over here? That you will keep on partitioning till your P is less than R. That means your left part should be less than your right part. Obviously, uh, you can also write P is less than or equal to R over here, but that indicates that you are keep on sorting or keep on repeating this procedure till your reach at a point where you have only one element for sorting, so which doesn't requires actual sorting. But in general, this is what you can write. The important thing to discuss over here is that we have a partition algorithm and we don't have a combined step. That means you are writing a partition algorithm in such a way that you don't require a combine operation. And let us quickly review this. We have already, I think, understood this in the previous session, that partition, you want to perform a partition on an array which has a left index and right index associated. That means you want to partition A between L to R, right? So first step is you select the pivot element. As we have discussed, the leftmost element will be our pivot element. So pivot is equal to A of left. Then you will have two index. One is running from left to right, and second is running from right to left. So I is equal to L, so you are starting from left, and J is equal to R, so you are starting from right. So I starts from left, J starts from R. Now what you are doing, what is the job of I? I, the job is you keep on skipping the element till the element is less than or equal to pivot element. Here you can mention equal to as well. So what you are doing, while A of I is less than or equal to pivot, I is equal to I plus 1. That means keep all the elements which are less than pivot. Similarly, skip all the elements which are greater than pivot. Once you reach at the state where I has reached a point where pivot is, the element is greater than pivot, and here J has reached a point where pivot is less than, sorry, the element is less than pivot. In that case, you will check the position of I and J. If I is less than J, then you will simply swap the A of I and A of J. So for that, we have written another algorithm. So interchange Aij is the algorithm name. What you are doing over here, you are simply swapping the values of A of I and A of J. So it's a simple swap operation. Take a temporary variable x equal to A of I equal to A of J, and A of J is equal to x. In case I is not less than J, then it indicates the termination. So termination means here also you are checking the same condition while I is less than J. So So this is your termination. You will keep on repeating this loop till you found I is greater than j. So जब तक I की value j से ज़्यादा होती नहीं है तब तक आप ये loop, this loop will keep on repeating. Once you stop the loop, it means that partition has been done. So now you are swapping the pivot element with the jth element. So pivot is at, you can see pivot is equal to what? A of L. So you are swapping A of L with A of J. So you have L equal to A of J and A of J equal to pivot. So that's the swap operation. And then you are returning the index J. J index indicates the partitioning position. Right? So this is all about quick short algorithm. If you have understood the method, then understanding the algorithm should not be difficult. Till if you have any doubt, just you can ask the question or you can write it in chat box. Any doubt? If you don't have any doubt, then I have one question. I think there is require a correction over here. What is that correction? Anyone can answer me. If you understood the method, then there are correction in this algorithm, which I have deliberately. Okay, there is a question that pivot means that I think you might have. Let me show you one more example. Then I think it will be better to understand this. So I hope you are looking at the another screen. No, I think. See, in this case, this 3 is your pivot element actually. So what it means, every time you are actually interested in putting position or interested in changing or finding the correct position of 3. So if you go back, right, let us go back. Okay, so we are here. So first step is you find out the pivot element. So here yellow color is the pivot one, right? Now your objective is to put 3 in such a way that 3 will take its place. That means 3 will be placed at a position once this array is sorted. So 3 will be placed over there. So that will be your pivot element. Every time you are manipulating your data or positioning using by comparing the elements with the pivot element. So that's what we are doing over here. So what you will do, you will compare, you have 2 points, right, I and j. So let us start with I and j. Skip all the element which are greater than, well, if you see the algorithm, while a of I is less than pivot, skip all the element which are less than pivot. Here no elements are less than pivot. So if you see after first iteration, what will happen is 3 will find its place. Now you are sorting 2 more array. One array is this single element array and there is another array. This is which is this one. So what you will be doing now, 2 is already sorted, so you will start with the right part. So 38 is my pivot element now. So 38 will one is this and second is this, right? So here 19 is my pivot. See, this particular tool is not for good for visualization. This will not be able to understand, or you will not be able to understand actual visualization, what actually happens. And that's why I show you on manually, right? I know there is some issue with the visualization or understanding of it. But you know, just need to understand that pivot element is an element which is to be placed after every iteration. That's what we are doing. And once you put that element at a place, you have two part and which is to be sorted independently. So that's what we are doing. I hope you got the answer of your question. Okay. So any other question? Shall I move ahead? Okay. So next topic is, I think we have discussed four searching technique or sorting technique. We discuss the time complexity, we will not discuss that much in detail, but what you can just remember is that time complexity of quick sort is actually average time complexity is n log n, which is similar to merge sort. But in worst case means that if your elements are reversely sorted, that means you want to sort in ascending order, but your input is numbers in descending order. Then quick sort will perform worst. In that case, your time complexity is big of n square. You can see here. Otherwise, it as good as the merge sort algorithm. Its average case time complexity is big of n log n. Okay, so that all depends on the partitioning. That's what quick sort will do. It all depends on how partitioning takes place or order of partitioning takes place. But in general, you can say time complexity of quick sort is as good as merge sort. So with this, I think we'll stop our discussion on, or we finished our discussion on sorting technique. We have discussed mainly four sorting techniques: selection sort, merge sort, quick sort, and bubble sort. Now there are two searching technique as well, which we are going. But before that, there is one more technique is there, which is a linear search, which is the most simplest form of searching technique which one can use. What is search basically? First, you need to understand that searching means that you have been given an array of numbers. So let us say this is my array of numbers. Okay. So this indicates the number or array of numbers I'm having. I want to search for some element that is known as a key element. So you always have some key element. Let us say in our case, key element is 19. So you want to search for this key element inside this array. So what is the simplest technique you can see? Searching means you want to find out whether that element exists in an array or not. So this is my key element which I want to search, and this is my array inside which I want to search. So what is the simplest technique? Okay, let me ask you a question. Is key element exist in this array? Yes, tell me. Is key element exist in this array? Okay, you are saying yes, right? Obviously it exists. But how you will be, or how could you answer yes actually? On basis of what? What you have done with an array? What you have done with the key? So I think the Achilles Singh has given the answer already, that you are doing what? Comparing every element with 19. So obviously when you want to compare the elements with the key element, you will start from some place, right? So as this is a random array, you can start from any place, but because you want to search every position, either you will start from the leftmost one or you will start from the rightmost one. So what you will be doing, you will be having some kind of a pointer. So you will simply compare the value at that pointer along with or with key element, right? So let us say if this is my array A, then okay. So you will have some index value. So this is my index value, right? So what I will be doing is simply start with small index, or if I start with, if I writing a C program, then what I will be doing is you will start with a very simple or the first position, that is 0. So we'll start with 0 index. You will compare that element with this. So if you write the algorithm, how it will look like. So what I'm saying, I will start with the, let us say this algorithm is a linear search. So you want to find out something inside an array. Array is given by A. The first step will be, obviously you will get some index which is initialized to 0, right? Then you will run a loop. So instead of writing a while loop, I'm writing a for loop. So what I am doing is, let us say, now what is n? N is the length of array. So first you will find out the length of the array. Sometimes length is already given. What you can do, you can avoid this step. So an element key which you want to set. So what you are doing, you will simply write for I equal to 0 to n minus 1. What you will be doing, you will compare if a of I is equal to p. If they are same, that means your element is found. So we will simply return the index I. Minus 1 indicates this minus 1 indicates that element not found. But how and when this minus 1 will return? Obviously, you are running a loop, so it will start with 0. If it found a of I is equal to k, here a of I means 15. 15 is equal to 19, no. So it will move to the next point, right? Again, 12 will be compared with 19, no. Move to the next point. 5, no. 6, no. 8, no. 7, no. Next, 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 next. Here you found it. So that means now a of I has become equal to key. So that will return I. I means 10. So it will return 10, which indicates that 19 is found at 10th position inside array A, right? Let us say you are finding 199. So now what will happen? It is not here, 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 here. It is not here also. It is not here also. It is not here also. So it comes out of the loop. So that means this loop will terminate. Once this loop terminates and you are at the termination point, it means that element is not there inside an array. So what you are returning simply minus 1. Minus 1 indicates that element not found. So this is the simplest form of searching technique, right? This is called a linear search. It is sometimes also called sequential search as well, right? So I hope this technique is clear. Is there any doubt? If you don't have any doubt, then I want to go ahead. Yes, anyone? Fine. So this is let me save this image for okay. So this was the first technique. The second technique is I have already told you that no need to put your attendance in the chat box, right? Next is binary search. Okay. So what is there inside a binary search and how it differs from the previous case? Let us discuss that. See, one of the fundamental requirement of binary search is that the array or the input array should be sorted. That means, can you give this as an input to the binary search? Yes, anyone. Can you give these arrays as an input to the binary search? I'm saying the first and fundamental requirement of binary search is that array should be sorted. So can you give these as an input? No, the reason for that is because it's not sorted. So basically this cannot be an input array for the algorithm called binary search. So now what you require is something like this. right? So you require this as an input. Okay, so this has to be input if I want to sort using binary search. Let us first understand the approach, then we will write, or I will show you the algorithm also. How binary search works. First step in any binary search technique is, let us say you want to search this element is the key, right? So let us use the same number which actually is there in your C program. So if you write a C program, then this is how you should write, right? So these are my index, and these are my number. Okay. Binary search then based on divide and conquer approach. So the same technique which we have discussed in merge sort or quick sort is applied over here. In divide and conquer approach, what you are doing first is you are dividing your problem statement. So here we are dividing it by finding out the midpoint. So here what is the midpoint? It's 0 plus 12, right? So midpoint is left plus right by 2. So 0 plus 12 by 2, that is 6. So this is actually your midpoint. Now you will check whether the key value is there on the midpoint. So let us understood by algorithm aspect only. You have 2 pointers. Another is, this is my R. This is my left. So the mean pointer, what you have found is 6 as my midpoint. So this is my midpoint. Key element with the mid value. So you are comparing 19 with 15. When you are comparing two numbers, there are three possibilities. First possibility, that the number are same. That means your key element is 19, your A of mid is also 19. That indicates that your search is over, right? Here that is not the case. Second possibility is that your A of mid is less than key element. When your A of mid is less than key element, it means that your mid element, or sorry, your key element is not yet found, but it is less than midpoint. So it means that because it is less than this, now there is always a chance that element will be there inside this part and not this one. So you will not look inside this. The reason for that is the array is sorted. If your array is less than midpoint, it means that it is the left of mid. Or if your array is sorted and if your element is not found at the midpoint and it is greater than midpoint, then it means that your element is there at the right of the mid. So now, because our element is greater than key element, our element which then always a chance is inside this part. Left and right position. So my value of new left is need minus 1, right? Right way I am not going to change, right? So now again I will find out mid position, mid number. So what is the new mid value? Mid is equal to left plus right by 2. So it is 7 plus 12 by 2. 7 plus 12 is 19. 19 by 2. What is 19 by 2? Yes. I'm asking a very simple question. What is 19 divided by 2? Thank you. It's 9.5. So when it is 9.5, then you can use either a scaling function function. So 9.5 is converted to 9, right? 9.5 is converted to 9. We are using floor function. Floor function means 9.5 will be converted to 9. Compare the value of A of made with my value. So 25 and 19. It means that it has to be on the left of this. So this was your n, and sorry, this was your array, right? 18, 19, 25, 28, 36, and you have find out the midpoint, and you have found that 19 is less than. So now what will happen? You will. So what happens? Now your right should become mid minus 1. Right. So this is my new setup. Again, I will call the same function. So what happens now? Again, compute the midpoint. Now it is 7 plus 8 by 2. 7 plus 8 by 2 is 7.5. 7.5 is 7. So my mid is over here. Again, I will compare key with mid, 18 and 19. Because 19 is greater than the key value, what I will do, and it indicates that I will move the pointer. So left is equal to mid plus 1. Again, same function, same call. Find out the midpoint. Left plus right by 2, 8 plus 8 by 2, that is 8. Compare now with midpoint. So what happens? They are same. So it means that now you have found the element, right? So this is binary search. It is obviously better than the linear search, but when your array is sorted, that is the precondition. Why it is better? Better is because you are actually minimizing the number of comparisons. That means you are actually improving the algorithm performance. When you are performing a minimum number of comparison, it improves the performance. If you have observed in case of if I give the same array to the linear search, then how many comparison I'm going to make? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At ninth comparison, I will find out the 19. But in case of binary search, how many comparisons I have made? I have first find out midpoint at 6, then at 7, and then at 8. So that means I have only performed 3 steps or 4 steps for finding the element. In previous case, it was 9 to 10 step. It sounds very how is going to make the difference? Yeah, it is not going to make the difference when your array is of 10, 12 numbers. But let us say when your array is of 12 millions, then you will, and you have already a sorted array or index by some means, then it always have, or it is always better to have this technique rather than following the linear search or the sequential search. So this is how it works. Let us find out the false condition. False condition is, let us say 20, which we want to search. Let us say 14. Okay. So now let us try to understand the same algorithm using a, I'm not going to use these arrows. I'm simply going to use this text. So let us say initially this is my left. This was right. First step is you find out the midpoint. So here also again the midpoint is 0 plus 12 by 2, so that is 6, so it is m, right? Compare the element with key element 15 and 14. Key element is 14. Key element is sorted less than the mid element. So change this index, you will change this index and you will change it to this. So now what happens? Your R is equal to m minus 1. So now you will look inside this. Okay. Again, you will find out the midpoint. It's 5 plus 0. 0 plus 5 is 5. 5 is 2.5. 2.5 is 2. Because you are using the ceiling function. Sorry, floor function. So again, you will compare A of mid. A of mid is 6 with 14. 14 is greater than 6. So it has to be there inside this part. So that means we will not change here. Right? Again, left plus R by 2. So 3 plus 5. That is 8. 8 by 2, that is 4. So your mid comes here. Again, compare 10 and 14. 14 is greater than 10. That means your left will calculate the midpoint. Mid is 5 plus 5 by 2. So that is 5. So your mid is also here. Again, you will check the value 12 and 14. Key is greater than 12. That means your left has to be moved. Right? Now, what this indicates? Your left has to be on the left of right. Instead of that, they have overlapped. That indicates the termination. That indicates the false condition. So that will be your terminating condition. Whenever you will keep on doing this, till your left is less than or equal to right. So now if you see the algorithm, you have a searching algorithm, binary search, you have array, you have n number of elements, the element which you want to search, key. We'll start with the low and high. So low is equal to 1, and high is equal to n. N is the length of the array. So here you are considering 1 as the initial position, so 1 to n. That's what we have been discussed. While low is less than or equal to high, you will keep on finding midpoint. So mid is equal to low plus high by 2. If key is less than midpoint, key is less than midpoint, that means your high should be changed. That means high is equal to mid minus 1. Else, if key is greater than midpoint, then your low should be changed. So low is equal to mid plus 1. It is not less than, it is not greater than, it means that they are same. They are same means that you have found the element. So you are finding return mid. But you keep on repeating this and your low has become greater than high. That means your L it's a false condition, so you are returning 0. Clear? So this is a binary search. The first case is your input array has to be sorted, and second one is it is better than the linear search. This is the recursive version of the same algorithm. So here it is recursive. You have passing 3 parameters, low, high, and key. First step is, forget about this if part. First step is you find out the midpoint. If it is same, then you return. If it is less than this, then you call the same algorithm, but with this parameter, low and mid minus 1. Otherwise, you call the same parameter with another parameter, mid plus 1 and high. And when this will stop, 2 cases. If you have found right, if low is greater than high, return 0, right? You can skip this entire step. I think search. So this is what we have inside sorting and searching technique. I hope this is clear. We can have few, but I think as of now we have completed our technique and we have discussed 2 searching technique. So that actually completes one of the topics. Minutes more in the next session, and then I will declare this as a finished topic. Any doubt you can raise over here, or you can just note it down and ask me in the next class, because your time is up. So thank you all.